Thanks. Okay, I would like all of you to just imagine, okay? Just at the start, I believe that everybody have your dinner. Just imagine that you're waking up each day knowing that the day will be filled with purpose, passion, and progress in your journey. Yeah, your journey of recovery or your own journey. How it will like be. And feeling calm and at peace with yourself, improving the relationship with your loved one, and knowing that you can create the life that you really want, and taking just small steps to move towards your desired life. How it would be feel like, yeah. And you can imagine with some of the, yeah, what you see, what you hear, and how you feel. And today, what you will be learning, yeah, within this 1 hour and 1.5 hours, okay, I'm going to share with you what is trauma and how do you know if you or your loved one or someone that may be having, yeah, have experiencing trauma, and what can you do to help yourself, help others, whether is it your loved one or your friends who are experiencing trauma. Before I carry on, let me share a story. There was a boy who was being bullied by classmates in kindergarten and lower primary and witnessed family violence. Witnessing seeing his father physically abuse his mother, kicked by his father with a leather belt, not just one time, throughout his, childhood. And youngest brothers passed on due to leukemia when he was only 8 years old, and have the symptoms of ADHD, for those who know about ADHD, and was an underachiever in primary school, and was also labeled by a Chinese teacher as Xiao Ba Wang, a little rascal, and suffered from low self-esteem due to his height and look. And what does it mean? If you can take a look at this boy, then you will know what I mean. Emotionally neglected by parents and is an introvert. And I am this boy that I shared earlier. And today, this is who I am. Yeah. And there was a girl. Her father was diagnosed with lung cancer and passed on when she was only 3 years old. Her mother left the family with 3 kids to her grandparents and aunts to take care. The younger sister was given away as the caregiver could not afford to take care of so many kids. Her mother came back later on and showed the facts when she was only 9 to 10 years old, and her grandfather hung himself. Could not take the kind of stress. Yeah, as a result of that, yeah, he hung himself. Can every one of you just mute yourself? Yeah. And she had to shift from rented place to place to live. Her grandmother and her aunt. Close to her grandmother, but she passed on when she was 16 years old. And she has symptoms of OCD. And she's an introvert as well. And she's my wife. Yeah. And she's now a MOE trained teacher, certified relationship coach, as well as a certified NLP practitioner. I would like to say that you are not alone. Yeah. And I would like to ask you if you can, okay, that if you are experiencing any trauma, okay, whether is it you or you have someone close to you or your friends or even colleagues experiencing trauma, okay, can you type a 1 or you put yes if there are some people you know Okay, you can type a yes if you want to. Yeah, because I would like to say that you're not alone. Yeah, you can put one or just yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being open to share. And at any point of time, I believe that all of us, or most of us, will experience some kind of trauma. And likewise, for myself and my wife, we went through trauma. And if you want to classify as whether is it a PTSD or complex trauma, that later on I will share more about that. And what is the effect of trauma? Okay, and if you can take a look at this, okay, in terms of people who are having trauma, childhood trauma, they're all, I mean, when they are and adults, they went through some life crisis. Okay, there is a higher percentage or higher risk of developing a mental health condition, be it depression, anxiety, or PTSD. Yeah, and some of them even have the risk of having psychosis, OCD, or bipolar disorder. And if you look at the news over here, yeah, I mean, if you take a look at this, just the three newspaper article, 2 in 5 Singaporeans have mental health struggles. Yeah, in last year April, okay, about 1 in 3 young people in Singapore have mental health symptoms. This is in May last year, and on 27 April this year, okay, there are 1 in 10 teens suffers from mental health disorder. Yeah, and these are not just the news. Okay, as I work in schools, yeah, I notice that there are more and more students have symptoms of mental health, and as a result of that, they are referred to IMH for diagnosis and treatments. So, what is trauma? Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible events like an accident, rape, or natural natural disaster. Okay, these are the different definitions of trauma, as you all can see from US, UK, or even Australia. And this is we call PTSD. Yeah. And this is a reference from IMH from Singapore. If you can look at the definitions. In Singapore, okay, for people who going through trauma, so once you have been diagnosed, you will be diagnosed of PTSD. And in Singapore, they don't recognize what is that called complex trauma. That is not okay. So this is only diagnosis that we can see here. And I like these definitions of trauma. It's just an experience that we have with the overwhelm and capacities to cope. It's just a matter that we cannot cope, and that's why some people have traumas and going through a lot of crises, and as a result of that, they have mental health conditions. And take a look at all the traumatic experience that affects children and adults. Take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. If you look at the stories of what both me and my wife have gone through, okay, then we have childhood abuse or neglect. Okay, so I witnessed the act of violence, family violence, yeah? And both me and my wife we experienced grief and loss. And these are some of the physical and emotional symptoms of trauma. If you take a look, okay, this is, but I mean, bingo. If you look at this, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16. Okay, these are only some of the symptoms, not all. Okay. And take a look at this. And maybe you can put the tick to yourself, okay, if you have any of these symptoms. Okay. I'll give you about 1 minute to take a look. I mean, as I know that some of them are just joining in. Okay, and I'm going to move on. How many of you have more than, okay, okay, I think so. Okay, please just mute yourself, all of you. Mm. Okay, these are some of the symptoms of PTSD: intrusive thoughts, memories, avoidance, heightened arousal, and if you look at it, changes in thoughts and feelings. Intrusive symptoms, and if you take a look at this, I'll just give you about 30 seconds to just take a look. You have nightmare, unwanted memories, flashback, distress, physical reactions, for example, increased heart rate or sweating. If you can put a tick, you think that you might have these symptoms. Avoidant, okay? You're avoiding thoughts or feelings of traumatic experience or events. Okay, so you stay away from those places or people that you had reminded you, okay, of the trauma. And sometimes you can even insist of the conversations, yeah, and increase arousal. Okay, so you easily get fearful, and but you don't know how you are feeling fearful of that. Okay, sometimes you may struggle with anger outbursts, or you might have troubles concentrating, focusing on something. And quite a lot of people have difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep. Okay, and they can behave with self-destructive behavior, and they are overly aware of their surroundings and looking for potential threats to sleep. And what are the changes in their thoughts and feeling? Okay, I mean, as you can see, okay, there are ongoing distorted belief about yourself or others. There's a recurrent feeling of fear, anger, guilt, shame. And you might have loss of interest or feeling detached from others, having difficulties experiencing positive feelings. Take a take if you think that you might have or your loved one. And let's take a look at the 4 types of trauma responses. I give you a few seconds to just take a look. There are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn responses. Take a look at these are some of the symptoms of the behaviors that is showing up. Yeah. And if you know that, okay, you might have these fight responses, you might have freeze responses, yeah, or you might have fight. These are some of the responses you might have. Before I move on, okay, if you have any questions, I do hope that you can just write down first, and later on there's a Q&A sessions before the end of the session. So you can just write down your question first, okay, because I didn't have time to take a look at your chat. If let's say I'm not too sure whether somebody have posed a question or not, okay? So before the end of the sessions, there's a Q&A. So let's take a look at the PTSD treatments in Singapore. Yeah, this is the source from IMH, okay. And based on the treatments administered in IMH, there are medications provided, there are prescribed medications, and there are psychotherapy, okay, to reduce the intrusive thoughts. Yeah, and these are the two treatments by government's hospital as well. I believe that many of you have gone through, I mean, if you are diagnosed with some PTSD or some others condition, mental health conditions, these are very two common type of treatments. And for me, okay, all this is something that I do. I don't know how many of you have heard of this post-traumatic growth. You have heard of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, but not many of you might heard of this post-traumatic growth. So what is it about this PT? So PTG is defined as the positive psychological change experienced as a result of the struggle with trauma or highly challenging situations by Richard and Lawrence. These are the two who developed PTG. Yeah. And another definitions can be defined as positive personal changes that result from the survival struggles to deal with trauma and its psychological consequences, according to the PTSD Association of Canada. And somebody or someone might ask me, so what is the difference between resilience and PTG? Okay, this is the difference. Resilience is a process of adapting in the face of adversity, whereas PTG refers to the positive change experienced as the result of adversities in life or a life-altering crisis, according to the PTSD foundations. So I hope that you have a quite a clear understanding of the differences, because this is always like kind of people will ask, so what is the difference? So if you look at this, there are 5 areas of post-traumatic growth. First one is the personal strength. If you look at the personal strength, it's increase of resilience, self-reliance, confidence. So you know about your strength. Yeah, I believe that most of you or some of you know about your own strength. If not, then please go and check it out or go and find out what are your strengths. And new possibilities, improve relationship, spiritual growth, and appreciation for life. I will go through one by one. Okay, these are the post-traumatic growth strategies, and I will go through slowly one by one. And if you have any question later on, you can just write down. Personal strengths. Take a look at these 24 descriptions or words. Yeah, and just by taking a look, I would like all of you to just type down in the Zoom chat. Okay, in the Zoom chat, are you able to identify some of your strengths? About, I give you about 1 or 2 minutes just to take a look at these 24 words. And then type into the Zoom chat that you might think that, yeah, I mean, I resonate with this strength. I resonate with some of the strengths over here. So just type it down. Give you some time to type it. Self-regulation, yeah, love, kindness, yeah, love of learning, forgiveness. For the rest of you, creativity, humanity, perseverance. Wow, okay. Some of you have so many. That's good. Yeah, good. Thanks for. Okay. And I hope that all of you at least can identify one. Okay. At least one. Yeah. And normally when I work with my clients, okay, I will look at their top five strength. Yeah, top five strength. And then I will work with them. And then based on this top five strength, how can they can use it, yeah, when they are facing certain struggles or certain certain struggles or in terms of crisis, how they can use their strengths. Okay, and it can combine of using certain strengths. When I do my coaching with my clients, thanks for sharing. New possibility. Okay, when we talk about new possibilities, okay, we talk about maybe something that, oh wow, before that, you have never think of changing your job, or you have never think of setting a goal that you want to achieve for all this year. And normally when people go, after going through some crisis, and they start to think about it, "Wow, actually, I want to do something else." In my journey of working with our clients, after going through some crisis or trauma, when they are recovering, they decided to change their job, yeah, or even possibility of cultivating a new interest. And they just set their goal and take action. And even I have some people, because I'm kind of learning from overseas, I mean, those trainers, and I have different groups of coaches from all overseas. And we have these communities, and we are looking at certain people's, people are sharing about clients. Okay, there's a breakthrough for those who are going through trauma and recovering from trauma. They set out a new goal and just go for it. I hope that some of you or all of you something that in mind that you want to do, maybe for the next half of the year. And next one, we look at improved relationships. And what does it mean by improved relationship? I would like you all to just take a look at this. Okay, in your own life, yeah, what are some of the relationship that you would like to improve? Be it, I mean, your families, be it colleagues, be it with your friends. Yeah, just think about at least one, yeah, one relationship you want to improve. And then how are you going to do it? And the next things, and this is something that you look at it as a spiritual growth. Wow, I mean, people will think that, wow, spiritual growth, what does it mean? Basically, it's not just about the religious kind of practice. Okay, it's also about finding purpose in life, meaning in life. And there are quite a number of people after going through trauma and in their journey of recovery, they seek comfort or they find something to go on to their spiritual practice. Yeah, and they either maybe they are more committed in their religious practice, or some of them even find new purpose in life. Appreciation for life and what are you grateful for today? And if you just look at it, yeah, in your life, what are some of the things you are grateful for, despite of the challenges that you are facing in life? What are those things that you are grateful for? And when I work with my clients, I will get them to do a 30 days challenge. And I hope that all of you, yeah, will have this practice of writing down at least one thing that you are grateful for each day. So I would like to now I'd like to open up to all of you. What is one areas that you can do to improve yourself this week, or even this month, or even this year? in these 5 areas. I would like you to write down, okay, in the Zoom chat, what is one areas that you want to improve yourself this week, this month, or for the next 6 months to end of December. What's one area you want to improve? And I would like you to even go further. If you say that, okay, personal strength is one thing that I want to improve, okay, and what are you going to do about it? I give you about 5 minutes just to do it. And one of the things that when we talk about the improving of relationship, okay, it's not just relationship with others. One of the most important relationship is with yourself. Okay? Yeah, and that is very important. I always like to emphasize, okay, when I work with my clients, yeah, focus on the relationship with yourself first. So take about 5 minutes and to write down in the Zoom chat what is one areas that you want to improve yourself this week, this month, or for the next 6 months. And then write down in the Zoom chat. And what are you going to do to improve the area? So some of them have been stuck. I think that's good. Decision for life, what are you going to do? Okay, money, yeah, a lot of money, yeah, what are you going to do? Earn a lot of money, or in a legal way. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Good. Yeah. You can just continue to write. Okay, and I'm going to continue. Okay, these are some of the things that we do at Hope Alliance. We are running complex PTSD, peer learning circle. We don't call it as a support group, but we call it as a peer learning circles. And there are 8 sessions that we are conducting. And the next run will be on 6th July. Yeah, every Thursdays, 8 to 9:30. And these are some of the testimonials for those who attended or participated in the past sessions. Just to be able to use some of the testimony that have happened. Yeah. And I will want to share with you that, the main trainers who conducted this training, she personally experienced complex trauma. Yeah. And instead of just, if you look at my stories, yeah, I will also classify that as complex trauma. And now we are providing services, coaching, counseling, therapy with others, and to help them to recover from the trauma. And these are the 2 books, okay? And the first book, We Are Human Too, Drop the Label, that is a collection of the stories from the people that we work with, yeah, and also the people that we have, okay, in our group of supports. And we write the stories. And for the next book that we are going to launch in October this year, okay, will be focused on complex PTSD. Yeah. And it will be by myself and Kenny, who's the trainer for the complex trauma peer learning circles. This is just our working title. We'll change the titles, and there will be a collections of the story from a survivor, yeah, and there will be
Sorry,
some.
if I want to get the book from Darkness to Thriving,
Hmm.
how much is it selling at?
Okay, we'll let you know when we are going to launch. Yeah, so not to worry. Yeah, yeah, there will be a discount for our own family members. I mean, when I say family members, are those okay within our community. By the way, I mean the first book I saw it in the Kinokuniya bookstore. Yeah, this book. Hopefully, the next book will be there too. Yeah. Okay, now instead of I'm just talking about my stories and I mean what's his trauma, I would like to invite Zoe, yeah, to share her stories of complex PTSD. Hey, Zoe, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, are you ready to share your stories?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, you may share.
I like it. Yes. Okay lah.
I mean, I know Zoe, okay, I think in 2021, not wrong. Yeah, she was introduced by one of the friends that we know. Yeah, and then that's where I got to know her, and she has such amazing stories. Yeah. And when I first know her, I mean, I don't know whether she still remember. We would just send the messengers. Yeah, she's struggling. Yeah, and sometimes she's, I mean, yeah, having a lot of issues, and I see the growth in her, and she, yeah, and maybe I will just let her to share more of it. So, are you ready?
Uh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's all yours. Zoe.
Okay lah. I mean, I was diagnosed with mental health condition in 2019, and I also having some difficulty with myself. Going forward also. So I could not stay long in a job for long period of time. I was in and out of job. So yeah. So having some violence abuse at home also lah. So yeah, so trying to seek help during that period of time. I mean I managed to get out of the darkness. So I managed to get some help. That's how I know HA. Yeah, so how my life get better from there is I learned. I also use their tools to go for it lah. So yeah. So I believe there is way others to get help also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is something that is you think that you want to? I mean, when you are at that moment of yeah, you can't cope when you are stuck. Okay, what is the turning point for you?
Turning point for me, I think is more like getting help, getting support from others, and also reaching out to others to get support, rather than you suffer in silence. Like you're not reaching out for help, you're not trying to get any help from there. Yeah. Yeah. How's the operation? Wait, give me a minute.
Yeah, sure. He's having a dinner with her family, so oh, yeah. Are you able to continue? Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you look at this girl, I mean, she's very resilient. Yeah. And knowing her background, it's not easy for her. And that's why she will be one of the stories that featured in our book upcoming. And I would like to encourage for those who are going through some traumatic experience, yeah, do seek help, yeah, and do seek support from a group like us. Yeah. And for us, we believe in the consistency learning. Yeah, that's why we call it a peer learning circles, not just learn from, trainers like Andy and myself and the others. Yeah, we do encourage for all of them, in our groups to learn from one another. Yeah, that's how we grow together. It's still okay, it's okay. Yeah. And maybe later on I will let her continue because she's having a dinner with her family, which is it's a kind of idea. Okay. Okay, maybe I will just want to continue from there. Thank you, Didi. When you come back, please let me know. Okay, before I carry on, maybe at this point of time, do you have any things that you want to ask before or talk about? No? I just let her have time to.
No, I do have one question. What's the difference between psychosis and schizophrenia?
Hello? Sorry?
What's the difference between psychosis and schizophrenia?
Okay, if you look at it, right, do you know that there are certain overlapping? Do you realize?
You mean they are two different things, is it?
Yeah. Okay. And of course, which one come first? You're going to ask me.
No
If you
idea.
look at the symptoms of psychosis, okay, and schizo, okay, there might be certain similarity, okay, but the onset normally is a psychosis. Yeah. Mm. So
So
when
just
people
what? So just what is psychosis then?
psychosis is, I believe that you have, gone through some of the training, or are you kind of one of the persons who going through, or okay, you want to share with me if let's say if you look at it, okay, psychosis, if you look at the symptoms, okay, what are some of the symptoms of psychosis?
I'm not sure, but I think it's like hallucination and all that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and,
yeah.
and distorted sensation
Yeah,
or perception.
yes. And what about the schizo? If you look at it, what is the difference? Of course, you can just go and Google
Like
and
the
search
same
it
like
out.
that, like the same like that. I don't know. That's why I'm asking
Mm.
you. I don't know.
Okay, that's why I won't. Okay, this is something I disagree with the mainstream. Okay, and to all these diagnoses, these are all I would consider as a label. It's just a diagnosis. Okay, and what I would like all of you even to focus on, not just the diagnosis, whether you've been diagnosed with certain conditions. Okay, this is what we mean here. Okay, don't bother about, or don't be so bothered about the diagnosis itself, the name that is given.
I think just that the trauma cause your perception or sensation to be distorted,
Yeah.
generally.
Okay. I would say that yes. I would say that most of the mental health conditions, okay, the origins is from trauma. Yeah. And if you look at it just now, as I mentioned, there are quite a number of researches, okay, paper have been done. Yeah. And if you have certain trauma, childhood trauma, okay, there's a high risk of having mental health conditions. So instead of just looking at, oh, I have these conditions, I have that conditions, focus on those traumatic event that you have and then work on it. I know that in Singapore systems, okay, most of the people who once who have all these kind of symptoms, first thing first, of course, you will go to IMH, yeah, and then there will be a diagnosis, okay, given, and then medications were prescribed. And for me, okay, if someone come to me, okay, and describe about their certain conditions, or certain symptoms, I will get them to do some psychotherapy or some of the methods that I use. And I learned a lot of overseas, trainings, dealing with traumas, working with traumas, and the cutting edge techniques. Which in Singapore, not many people are still using it. I just attended one of the training, which is a kind of advanced kind of methods that work with people with trauma and complex trauma. Is she back already? Are you back?
Yep, I'm
Zoe?
back. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that you maybe want to share is to all of them is what would be one of the message you want to send out to them, or what is the encouragement for those who are going through trauma?
Okay lah. I mean, if you feel like you're not stable, then do get help lah. Do seek help. Don't like because of your face or you want any like because of 面子, right? You don't seek help or just go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let me move on. Yeah.
I think
Okay, this is
Alison has a question.
sorry. Later on. Yeah, there will be Q&A. Yeah. Please. Okay. Please ask the questions that is relevant to today's topic. Yeah, on trauma. Okay. Yeah. Okay, these are the complementary character strengths assessment. Just now that I mentioned about the 24 strengths. Okay. Yeah, and this is you can just either you can take a screenshot, okay, or you just scan this. Let me copy. Later on, I will copy this link, okay, or you just kind of using the scan the QR code. Okay. Yeah. And for the other ones, that is my complimentary 30 minutes of coaching consultation. Okay, you can same thing. Okay, you can check the link, or you can just scan the QR code to make an appointment with me. Yeah. And this is something that I have been launching. It's the post-traumatic growth coaching programs, and it can be a 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, and 12 month. So if you want to get help or seek help, okay, and you want to work on yourself depends on, of course, depends on your time, depends on your budget. Yeah. And you can just fill up the application form, or you can just scan QR code and get in touch with me. Yeah. Okay. Wow, we are
Sorry, Vincent. Can send the link to me
okay,
because
sure.
I'm using my phone to log in.
Okay, sure. I will send
Yeah.
the link to you.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Sorry, the second link,
Yeah.
after the character strength one, can show again or not? I take a picture.
This is the one you're talking about. Okay, this is the first one. This is the second one.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm glad that now more and more people are aware of the urgency or the needs to seek help. Okay, and there is quite a big group of people who are seeking help. Okay, out there instead of just go to IMH, go to other hospitals, the government hospitals. Because for those who are in the systems, the waiting time, okay, or the usual methods that they are using. And for me as a private practitioner, for my private practice, consistency learning the new techniques and how to help my clients, okay,
Can
in
you
their journey
flash?
of it.
Sorry,
Sorry?
can you flash again the 4 responses to trauma? The
Sorry?
flight, fight, the thing, the 4 responses. Yeah, wait, the one.
4
This one,
responses.
wait, where is the one now?
This one.
Yeah.
Mm,
I didn't realize the people pleasing is actually a trauma response.
mm,
I thought
mm,
some people are born with this thing or trained to condition to behave this way.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And avoiding conflict. I realized that a lot under fawning,
Mm,
I have this category lah.
mm. Okay.
Mm.
Mm,
I didn't realize it was unhealthy and actually not normal.
okay. Yeah. So now I want to open up to, thanks for sharing. Yeah. I want to open up for Q&A. Okay. Anyone have questions to ask? Do you have any question?
I have a question.
Okay.
What is fawn? Because I know about freeze and fight and
Mm.
the other one, but I don't understand what is fawn.
Okay, let me show it to you. Okay. If you take a look, there are the 4 mains. Okay, there are 4 mains trauma response. Just by the way, okay, there are more than 4. There are more than 4. And during the training that I'm going through, okay, there are another few types coming out. Yeah, so these are the normal general 4. So if you look at the definition, what does it mean by fawn? Okay, if you have the tendency of pleasing other, okay, don't know how to say no, okay, or you avoid conflicts, or you
I think
prioritize others, that means you put others first of your own needs.
can I just share my contribution of what I think the gist of fawning is about? I think gist of fawning is actually you're like a piece there to appease people, you get to make people angry.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I think most of those reaction seems to fall under this category, like people pleasing, avoiding conflict. You scared to you are out to appease people, like 好像怕惹人家生气还是什么那个场合啦，那个情况。
Yeah. So they have I mean, find difficulties in setting their own boundary.
What does that mean? What does the setting boundaries is hard? Why people with trauma always feel that it's hard to set boundaries?
Okay, then of course you have to ask yourself, I mean, why is it so difficult for you to set boundaries? For example, okay, let's say, okay, and I mean, this is a very common kind of situations, okay, especially in terms of the male and female interactions. Okay, this is one of it, no? And setting boundary, people don't know how to say no. You have ability to say no. Yeah. And maybe people will just I have incidents that okay, and one of my clients who is male colleagues, okay, male colleagues kind of like a bit a bit touchy. So in her workplace, like she will okay, these guys, I mean these male colleagues will just get near to her and then touch her shoulder or give her a peck, that kind of thing. Yeah. So she have difficulties or say, oh, sorry, please, I'm not feeling comfortable for you to touch me. Yeah. Okay. So these are the things. Yeah. Of course, setting boundary also in terms of okay, your time. Okay. If let's say for people say, hey, can you help me to do this? Can you help me to do that? You don't know how to set boundary, then yeah, at the end of the day, you overwhelm yourself. Too much.
Yeah, I have a question, same to Sabrina. Yeah, why is it that certain people choose fawning, certain people choose fight? I mean, fight and fawning is like opposite like that. Fight is like you self-defense like that, you aggressive. Fawning is like you bend over back forwards, to accommodate a person, Why like that?
Yeah.
Vincent, can I answer?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. First, I would like to clarify to those few who are asking about this. This will be covered in your July and August syllabus of complex trauma,
Mm.
peer learning circle. Okay, and I like to clarify all these fight, flight, freeze, fawn, none of them are bad reaction. Please do not see them as bad reaction. They are your body informing you of danger. They are basically just your body informing you of danger. And with your different complex trauma, you develop different F. So this F reaction are your body informing that your body is already heightened up to a dangerous level. So what we teach our peer is, you don't get rid of all this F, but you bring it down to an acceptable level that you can function in the outside world. Okay, it's your body informing you of danger. They have nothing wrong with them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just your body informing you of danger. So, but how we can then bring down this level to an acceptable level? That is the key that we work on in your complex trauma support group. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait,
Okay.
you
Thank
say
you.
there's nothing wrong. I mean, I agree with you that based on their different kind of trauma and their different kind of background, maybe they choose this response lah. But I don't quite agree with you that that this what I don't have the word you just said, but you say that it's actually
Your body informing you of danger.
or
It's
maybe
basically your body natural reaction to inform you that there is danger coming. You have too much on your plate already. So now, instead of letting this reaction, use it at 100%, we teach our participants to bring it down to an acceptable level.
Okay.
see.
Mm.
Just that I thought that it's not healthy or the smart response lah.
No, it's your body informing you of danger.
This is something I don't understand. Maybe
So you
later
have
on.
to understand why your body is acting out this way. It goes back to what trauma causes it. Yeah.
Okay lah, never mind, I'll stop there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Candy, for sharing, for explaining. Yeah. And for those who really want to find out, I mean, how to work on themselves, and these are quite the auto response. Okay. The trauma responses. And like what Candy have said, that okay, this is not wrong. It's not bad or for that. Okay. Some also, when I work with people, also look at their own personality. Yeah. Okay. And there are different factors, I mean, or even the whether is it a trauma, different kind of trauma that affects you to have such a response. Okay. And as long as you think that the most important thing is for you to be aware of what kind of traumatic response that you have. And then once you're aware, then you know what are you going to do to change that response. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
No,
Let
just
me-
just a reflection on the two contrasting response, fight and fawn. Rather, one become defensive and attack, the other one bend over backwards to choose to please. Just that I think it's very interesting, these two contrasting response, and why different people why this person act like that. He don't mind. He rather kill the person and risk making an enemy out of him and think of his own safety. The other one scared to make enemy like that, will even put themselves at risk to save the situation, like not thinking of self like that. The other one thinking of self there, the other one not thinking of self. The other one like so scared to make people angry like that.
Well, I mean, for those who want to learn more of it, I will encourage, okay, for those who are interested to learn more about what is, I mean, how to handle, or how to recognize these, I mean, trauma responses, to sign up for our next one, which is in July. And currently, we have how many, Candy?
Currently, I
sign.
think we have about 12 already. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That means some of you have to wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Candy, for sharing. Yeah, Candy is one of the main trainers. Yeah, she's the main trainer for the complex traumas PLC. Yeah. Okay. And you have been running for, maybe Candy, I would like you to take this opportunity to share a bit about how many runs we have so far.
This coming July will be our 7th run. Yeah. It's basically started in 2021 during COVID time. And it is really I think like the opportunity was just being open because it has always been my dream. Because I'm someone who I seek a lot of treatment in the private sector. So I realized that there is a vast difference from what the private taught me and what the hospital could offer me, the public hospital. And as a result, I realized that my end result also come out quite differently.
Mm.
But as I met with many peers over the years, I used to volunteer with Singapore Association for Mental Health, running support group for 16 years. I realized that a lot of people with trauma, they are just not getting out of it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I do see that in my life, there is a difference. There is a getting out of it. Yeah. So, and there was a lot of modality, a lot of strategies that's been taught, which I don't find in the public hospital. So it has been like blooming in my mind until that in I think in 2019 I managed to join Aware Sexual Abuse Support Group, and then I get to know Miss Laika, who was then the senior manager of the sexual abuse department. So subsequently, after some time of following up with her, and it was during that time that also that when COVID come in, she left Aware. That is where I approached her to see that whether is there a possibility for her to help us set up a complex trauma support group. Yeah. And she was very willing. She came in, run through the material with us, yeah, and break it down all into Asia acceptable, understandable terms. Yeah. So she runs our first group, and subsequently, of course, she let us slowly take over with her being the moderator behind. And I think with her background of she worked in NGO, women's NGO in Malaysia and Singapore Aware, she really helped us to really build a very safe platform. And from there onwards, we have been reaching out, actively to Malaysia, Philippines, especially Malaysia. Even from now until to our last batch, the 6th batch that we just graduated, we have about nearly 60 participants from Singapore, Malaysia, and 1 from Philippines. Even in the coming July, we have 3 from Malaysia. So I think such thing is not available in Asia. And I'm also proud to say that we just graduate our first batch of hearing voices for psychosis and schizophrenia as well. So Vincent and myself strongly believe that with proper modality, people can move out of the symptoms. And our strong belief that I agree strongly with Vincent is that do not look at your label, do not look at a symptom, but look at the trigger. And more often than not, your triggers comes from the trauma. So work on the trauma, you'll find that your symptoms will get lesser and lesser. Your label will no longer be a label. Because once you stop having all these symptoms, you are no more label. Your label is just a telltale of your symptom only. Yeah.
Mm.
May I just ask a question at this point?
Mm.
The road to healing, does it start with sound thinking, like thinking the right thought, the proper thought, the wise thought, the healthy thought on things in general?
It started with understanding what had happened to you to create what you are.
And
Okay.
also, if you look at it, okay, because if you look at some of the mortality, they only just focus on one area, okay, but what we focus on is the mind, body, yeah,
Yeah,
I,
the total mind, body, and soul.
yeah, and soul, or you call it spirit. Okay,
okay.
so we are
What do you
focusing
mean
on.
by modality? I don't understand.
Okay,
Example?
okay, yeah, okay. Mortality, of course, is the method that we use. Yeah.
Oh,
And if
method.
you look at, on the treatment intervention methods, we don't want, normally if you go to the, government hospitals, they will say, okay, these are the treatments, but we look at it as interventions. Yeah. And once you learn the skills, it's a lot of people, okay, what they are lacking of is the learning of the certain knowledge, okay, and then apply it. Some of them, they can have the knowledge, but they don't apply it, it doesn't work for them. And they feel that, and some of them have go, everywhere to seek for help, but they don't really use what they have learned and apply it in their own life, and they won't see result. That's why, in terms of our peer learning group, yeah, we have this consistency of learning, yeah, from Candy and myself, yeah, for others, trainers out there. And then when
Uh,
they look at it, they will see the growth and the improvement in their conditions.
okay, I don't mind. Candy, sorry, I hope you be patient with me because I'm trying to understand something. You say it starts with learning why you are where you are and why you are where you are and how to get back to the right path again. Is it? Would you say
No,
that the healing start
no.
with that?
I'm saying that first you have to understand what happened that created all your symptoms. Okay, all your displaced behavior. I won't call it schizophrenia, I won't call it, but what has the trauma done to cause you to have this displaced symptom? Understand the trauma and work on the trauma. And there is no one modality for everybody. And there's no one modality for your whole life. Okay, you have to improve, progress, practice, and then move on to the next modality. It's a lot of learning, practicing, but I would say it's highly possible to really recover. Like I say that it's not about seeing them as bad thing. All these reaction are just your body telling you that there's danger. So understand that, okay, your body is telling you danger. Then how do I avoid the danger? Or do I see danger, I still run to the fire? So understand all this and now come up with different approach. You will find that your reaction will now become slowly acceptable reaction.
You
Okay. Yeah. And for those who really want to know more, because Candy and myself, like what she had mentioned, we believe in sharing what we have learned, knowledge, and what Candy have been going through different yeah, spending don't know how much on coverage.
Enough to tour
And
Europe.
yeah, and I spent also a lot of money to learn cutting edge methods, yeah, from all over the world, yeah. So because I know that quite a number of you all may not be have the kind of the time, okay, or the money to really go and learn that. So we bring it, and in the 8 sessions of these complex trauma peer learning circles, okay, we are helping you, we are using what we have learned, okay, hopefully that you can put into practice, yeah, okay. Do sign up or do find out from us, okay, if you are interested, yeah, on the next one. I think July one is already full house
Oh,
already, yeah. So you have to wait
okay.
for another run, yeah.
I
But
I got one more question.
I think
Because
there are
can
some other people that
okay,
have
okay,
other
okay, never mind.
questions.
Okay,
Okay,
if they don't have any,
maybe.
if nobody is
Mm,
talking, can I ask?
yeah, and I think some of Rosanna or Rosania, you have a questions?
Roseanne got question.
Roseanne, okay, Roseanne,
Roseanne, you there? Roseanne, are you there?
you can
Yeah,
unmute
sorry,
yourself.
I'm typing.
she's
Okay.
typing. So maybe Jerry can help to point it out and read it.
Okay. For those who some of those that kind of you want to, like think that you may have other questions or any things that you think that we can help you. Okay, like what I say. Okay, you can just have a 30 minutes consultation with me. It's a complimentary. Yeah. And before I launch up my programs to overseas, clients, potential clients, I would like to serve, people in in Singapore and Malaysia. Yeah, these are the two countries. Yeah.
What is the 30-minute consultation about?
Yeah. You sign out, then you know. That's it.
Don't know anything, go and sign up.
Huh? No,
Don't know
the consultation is basically, okay, is to find out what are the challenges that you are facing. Okay, and I can guide you. Okay, if let's say you at the end you think that, okay, I mean, if I propose what, I mean, how I can work with you. I mean, if you think that, okay, I mean, this sounds good to you, then you become my client. Oh, okay, yeah. And in fact, there are many and a lot of more people are coming in to seek help. I would say that they realize that what they are getting from the traditionals or the government's kind of services that they are getting is not enough. Okay.
Sorry, Vincent.
Yes.
Later, can I speak to you privately later on?
You need to later on 9:30 I have another call Zoom sessions. So you
Oh, okay.
just fix the appointment with me. Okay, then we
Oh,
can arrange. Yeah.
okay,
And
sure.
yeah, and of course for those who are the I mean professionals, counselors or in the training, I do encourage you to learn more of this cutting edge kind of methods. Yeah. And what you are learning in your own training schools, it's not enough. Okay. Yeah. I remember one of the professors when he came to Singapore to conduct training on pharma. I mean, he shared with us for those who want to come into this industry, prepare to spend more on your own development, professional development. And these courses are not, yeah, it's at least a few thousands and above. Yeah. That's why I mean I spend a lot on all this professional development. Yeah. And also the time that I invested.
Vincent,
Yes.
Roseanne typed in the group chat.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let me take a look.
Hmm?
Maybe Roseanne, I would suggest that you have a session with me, or I will not answer that your question over here lah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe Vincent, I can answer some question that is directly posted to me.
Uh,
There were some people who queries that why they can't get the diagnosis of complex trauma in the local hospital. Please understand that complex trauma is not in our local DSM. Okay, DSM is where the doctor measure like, okay, this one for under anxiety, depression, no. So I'm sorry, CPTSD is not in our local DSM. That's number one. Number two, private and government hospital really varies in a very big difference in terms of the time that the psychiatrist, psychologist, and your management team, your caseworker team, the time that they have enough to observe you. So most of the time, in government hospital, they will not have enough observation with you to be able to arrive at a conclusion of complex trauma, or even they can't put complex trauma, they will put PTSD. Yeah. So they will not have enough time. Yeah. And also in the especially in our local hospital, their policy tends to goes by what symptoms are you displaying. So for very deep complex trauma symptoms like dissociative identity disorder, I'm sorry, that one really take a lot of time and observation to really arrive there. Local hospital will never be able to really have the resources. Yeah. So if you ask me how to get there, then I will just say that I know IMH got 2 complex trauma doctor, but from what I know, their schedule are fully packed. It's impossible even get onto their schedule. If you really want to pursue such a, save out some money, yeah, go and work, save out some money. We can refer you to some private psychiatrists who are really good and can give you the time to arrive at the correct diagnosis. But you can also, without the diagnosis, just work on it. Come to our complex trauma workshop. Thank you, Vincent.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, and that's why I mean both Candy and myself, we know that I mean some of the limitations that you all have. Yeah. That's why we have all this I mean come up with this complex trauma, which is I mean peers learning group and it's free for our members. Yeah. And soon we will be going to charge. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And so please take opportunity to to sign up. Okay. And of course for your side you will need commitment. Yeah, commitment to attend and commitment to put it in practice. Okay, whatever things that you can learn, but if you don't put it into practice, okay, you won't see the results. Yeah. And that's why when my client pay me and the amount that they pay me is not cheap. Yeah. So when they come for my sessions, okay, they are really put in effort at it, and then they see results. Oh, okay. Sometimes we think that okay, maybe they give too much of free things and people will not just appreciate it. So in times to come, now we are going to charge. So take opportunity, okay, sign up soon. Okay, any other last questions before I mean end the sessions? Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
You were saying about how the diagnosis is like a label, right?
Hmm.
Like, can you maybe elaborate more on that? Because, you know, I bet some of us have been misdiagnosed and it's quite frustrating. So how do you like deal with that?
Okay. I mean, you have to ask yourself, of course, what is the purpose of the diagnosis? And if you thinking of medications to help, yeah, and then I would suggest you go for diagnosis. And because without diagnosis, you cannot prescribe with medications. Okay. And I will take it as a last resort, okay, to have a diagnosis. But what the current system is, okay, get yourself have a diagnosis first. Yeah. And of course, I mean, because I mean, for Candy and myself, we learn a lot of overseas. I mean, UK, US. I mean, I go around lah to learn whatever methods. Okay, and even for overseas psychiatrists, okay, some of the psychiatrists, they will advise their patient. They call it patient clients. Okay, to seek other alternatives. Seek for therapy first before, okay, before being diagnosed with a certain conditions. Yeah. But that is the different systems. So in Singapore, okay, if you need help or in the especially in the government sectors, yeah, you will need to have a diagnosis, be diagnosed by a psychiatrist, okay, and then they will prescribe medications, and then they will get psychologists in IMH, yeah, to going to have a session with the patients. They still call it patients, and then it also kind of to me, okay, some of the people that I mean seek help, I mean with me is because they know that it will take a long time to get help from the government sector, government hospitals. And and let me emphasize on this, okay. I know that there are okay for those who are already in the systems, okay. I mean you have no I mean no choice now because you are already in the systems. Yeah. And but how you have to ask yourself, okay, how fast you want to get out of the systems? That's one question. Okay. So far, okay, I only see at least in the, I mean, the people that I see, okay, not many of them have been officially discharged from IMH. Okay, it needs to take 5 years. Okay, with no medication, no kind of, relapse, okay, 5 years for you to be discharged from the systems. Okay, that's why a lot of people are still don't know. Once you are in the systems, okay, if you can't get out of the systems, your name will be always in the systems. Yeah.
Sorry, just want to ask like just a short one. So like what do we do if like our own family members are not supportive of our journey and actually like contributing to it, like downplaying mental health and saying that we cause this upon ourselves, this kind of thing.
Okay, and that's where the family sessions come in. Okay, I do have, people that come to me, yeah, they say that their family members, they don't know, they can't support us, and in fact, they are in terms of um more of creating the triggers lah. Okay, that's where the family sessions come in, yeah, to work with the whatever your spouse or parents, and there's a need for that. And in my because I conduct, okay, couple sessions, especially when I notice some of some of the arguments or the conflicts, okay, and later on when I work with the couple themselves, okay, later on I find that some of the one of the partners actually they have certain conditions lah. Then is how are they going to work together as a couple? Did I answer your questions?
Yeah, thanks.
Do come forward, okay, and maybe you can just have a consultation sign off. Okay, maybe I'll just, for the benefit of those who haven't yet to, okay, let me share this one. Okay. This is free. Okay, I always tell people this is free because if you, you just take a screenshot of the, in terms of just scan the QR code. Got it? Thank you very much. Okay,
Got it, thanks.
Welcome. Okay, just have a last question before I end the sessions. I know that they're supposed to be at 9, but yeah.
Vincent, this is the just introduction. Will there be a follow-up in future?
This is the introductions. I will be, okay, I'm thinking of doing a 3 days challenge. But this one will be a lot of, people might be from overseas as well. Okay, the timing will be a bit weird. Okay. Oh, because I just, this, today of course is just the introductions, like I mentioned. Okay, for those who need help, either sign up, for our complex trauma, okay, peer learning circles, yeah, to learn about it, yeah, or do a consultations with us, with me, and then and then see how I can support you. Any last questions before we end the sessions today?
Yeah, psychologist or psychiatrist?
Sorry, what do you?
Are you a psychiatrist or a psychologist?
Okay, I'm not a psychiatrist. Okay, I'm not a psychologist. Okay, I'm a psychotherapy. I'm a recovery coach. Yeah. The difference between psychologists and psychotherapy is that for psychologists, they took up their master in psychology. Okay, for me, I took up a master in counseling. Yeah, more on hands-on.
How do we know that we need the one-to-one consultation? It's like sometimes some things do trouble us in our daily life, but then how do we know then do we need a consultation time?
Maybe I will take this very simple, okay, analogy. Okay, for example, if you are at point A, where are you right now? And you have a desired goal at point B. So between point A and point B, okay, are you able to get to point B from point A to point B? Okay, and if you are stuck in a way, or you are overwhelmed, or with whatever reasons you can't get to point B, oh, then maybe it's time for you to seek help. Okay, got it? I
Yes.
mean, don't, okay. Sometimes I will suggest people don't wait until, okay, in Chinese we call it 临时抱佛脚, or yeah, don't wait for the last minute things and until you really need help. Okay, okay, when you find that, okay, there are certain things that you are stuck, that you cannot move on, or when you move on, then you move one step and two step backward, then you might need help. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong to seek help. Yeah, in US, UK, I mean, it's very normal for people to seek for therapy. Oh, I mean, for that, they are different. They can claim from their insurance, but in Singapore, you can't. Yeah, that's a difference. Okay,
Thank you.
welcome. Okay, I mean, thank you very much for all those who are, okay, who are here today. I thank you for your time, and do, okay, approach us, yeah, if you need help, and do, okay, look out for what we are doing on Hope Alliance Facebook, yeah. And thank you very much, and thank you for your time tonight. Okay, see you
Mm.
soon.